and I'm about to invite everybody from class, if you happen to want to join us, to talk about your site and ask questions if you have them while going through your install. Let's see, come on. There we go. So everybody's invited. And primarily we're going to have Ryan. Say hi, Ryan.
Hey, hey.
Ryan's going to be showing us the dashboard from his graphanimation.com site that he did with Reclaim Hosting. And we're going to go through all the different, and if you look on the showcase, it's the icon of the yellow tickets. And he's going to take us through all the different settings that are listed on the Connected Courses site, starting with our title and tagline. So it's your show, Ryan.
Okay, sounds good. I just kind of logged into my dashboard after a minor password resetting issue, which is something that I'm sure everybody at this point is realizing, that you're going to start building this small archive of usernames and passwords for various different things. And every so often I tend to think I can remember things, but it's all got to be backed up. So I just had that little issue of reminding myself to, log down all the passwords that I select and kind of keep them in a safe place that's easy and accessible to find. But okay, so first things first, I guess we can go over to Appearance and alter the name.
It's under, the name is going to be under Settings. Go to Settings in General.
Yep. So there we go.
There you go, and that's it.
So I believe you can also access that from the Customize feature as well.
Oh, depending on the theme, you're right.
But general settings is definitely a better idea. So here we are, where we can clearly see the site title and the tagline, which is left blank at this point right now. And I've been kind of kicking around this idea for the last year or so, with building GIF animations in and around the subject of graffiti art. So the project I've been working on has been archiving and collecting artists that have been making a transition from doing manual marquee letter style graffiti and experimenting with technology and animation for that. So down the line, I'd like to kind of start setting up a site that just puts an emphasis just on that. So hence the name, Graph Animation. And I don't have a dash in there or any other type of setting, but I could change it around, I guess, if I want, like I'm doing here. But I think I'm pretty happy with it just flowing as one word. And I don't have a specific tagline just yet, but I think I will change this down the line as I kind of put things together. So I'm pretty happy with the way that works at this point. So I'll just keep that as it is. And moving down the line here.
Next, you can consider discussion settings.
Okay, the discussion settings.
Which is really where people can decide whether people can comment.
Yep. And that's over here also.
Yep.
In the settings menu. Go down and click on discussions here, and there's all kinds of cool settings here that you should definitely get to know in terms of how people can communicate with you and so forth. You should read all of these individually, and you'll have to kind of tweak them and toggle them to your own individual, needs and allowances and so forth.
I think the big ones to think about is at the top, right off the bat, at the one at the top, which is simply allowing comments, and then the one where it says email me whenever I'm in his help for moderation. Like the idea is like, you can automatically approve comments, which is probably not a good idea. Like,
Yeah.
you want to hold them for moderation. But then the cool thing is when you want to really follow up when your site basically emails you,
Right.
so that you're actually hosting the comments, not just seeing it come, but then publishing the comment under the post. Okay.
Absolutely. I do that with all of my sites. I always manually approve, pre-approve all the comments before they go directly to the site. Otherwise, you could just end up with a ton of spam, and sometimes allowing it even once just leads to a whole new influx of all kinds of different stuff. So, but also down here, you can also
yeah, the avatars.
choose how the avatars are shown and the ratings for who can access and what they can see, and also changing the avatar section here. Like we have on our CT 101 site, we've got the retro icon activated right now, so we see all these cool little pixel art video game versions. But the Gravatar logos are also pretty cool. And on some of my other sites, I have this also checked off. But I also understand that not everybody has a Gravatar profile, which I would highly recommend because you can use it across the internet, which is really kind of consistent and unifies your content together. But in this case, I'm going to go with the retro option, and I'm just going to click Save Changes at this point, and that'll bring me back to there. We're going to check, see what's next on our list.
Privacy, which for the most part, yeah, if you go, you'll see that.
Yep. So the privacy option, where does that fall?
That's under, where is privacy? That's under general, general settings. If you click settings at the top, and this is a variety of privacy settings on a couple things. The first one, just look at the reading settings, actually.
Yeah.
If you go to reading settings.
Got it.
And then at the bottom, it's really about whether you want a search engine to index your site. That's really that first one.
Sorry, I just had a...
Yeah, you had it. Settings and then reading.
A little jump. Yep. There we go.
And that's that last one, that search engine visibility. That's really if you want to try to prevent Google to not index your site and show up in search engines.
Yeah.
That's a big decision. I mean, obviously one of the things we encourage you guys to consider is like to cultivate a presence online, and that means being discoverable via search.
Sure.
So for the most part, I think that we're encouraging you to keep that, but obviously it's a very personal choice.
Absolutely.
But I think that's all. I mean, there's about password protected posts and stuff like that, but I think for the most part we're not going to speak to that right now.
Yeah.
We can kind of skip the publishing content portion because everybody's already blogging, right? Yeah. Everybody knows the basics. But the big one you should go to is Akismet,
Yep.
which is a default plugin installed with every install of WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
And that should come under, I think it's under plugins, or it's going to be under tools, and you'll see the Akismet settings already there.
Yeah.
Or under tools, yeah. No, it's not there. So okay, we'll install this if it's not installed.
No,
so go to.
I haven't installed that plugin yet, so.
Yeah, go to plugins.
And we're going to add new.
Oh, it's there. You can see it actually. It's there. It needs to be activated.
There we go. So it's a default plugin.
Yeah, it's a default plugin. And the big thing is that next step where you have to activate your Akismet account. And an Akismet account is tied to a WordPress.com account. So if you don't have a WordPress, you have to use the get your API key.
Yep.
And when you click on that get your API key, it's going to bring up a form. So
Yeah, and
we went through that.
I've personally, I already have a
Right, and it's
key.
going to give you the opportunity to use your existing account
Hmm.
because if you can find, I mean, it's okay if you can't recall that stuff right off the bat.
Yeah,
If you already have a WordPress.com account, you can just enter the information for it.
yeah.
Well, let's pretend you don't, and you can use a fake, even a fake email address right now.
Okay,
Um, Even though it would have a confirmation, you can at least see what it is
okay.
because
So just put anything in.
yeah, it should work. If it doesn't, it's okay. We could. I mean, for this particular one, I mean, this is a very important thing to do with your WordPress install because if you don't, you're going to open your site to spam in the comment field, but and it'll just be annoying because because your site's set to email you whenever you get a comment to moderate. And what stinks is if you're constantly, all those comments happen to be spam, not actual comments, say from Ryan or I or from fellow students. So when you click sign up, let's go to click sign up and see what happens. It should accept this for now. And if it asks for an email confirmation, then we'll just deal.
Yep.
Cool. So this is what you want to do: is do the personal name your price sign up. And this is where feel free to take that slider on the right there, go to the top, and change it to 0. You're not going to have to, you're a student, you're just getting started with your blogging. You just enter a name, and in this case, we'll put Johnny Emails again.
So, okay. Oh, I guess, yeah, I see.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want. There you go. There you go. And then continue. And this is going to generate, hopefully, your API key. And this is what you're going to copy and paste into your configuration of Akismet back in the plugin settings. And there you go. So there's your shiny new API key, and you can copy that and go back to your dashboard for that Akismet settings, right?
Yep.
And then you paste it in there.
Should I actually activate it, or?
Yeah, sure, because you can always use your real API key later. It'll be fine. They don't mind. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it means you need to see this. Your Akismet account has been successfully set up and activated. Happy blogging. And so now you're protected from comment spam. You will still get comment spam, and be wary of those comments that say simple things like, "Wow, I really appreciate the insightful writing in this post."
Yeah, it's
really generic language, or hey, this is good writing, but if you don't want to be found by search engines, you should really consider doing X, Y, or Z.
yeah.
Don't approve those. What you want to do is in the comments section of your site, you want to mark those as spam, because that's how Akismet works. It's a crowdsourced marking of spam, and these small new sites like ours are not on the front line, so you're not going to get hit all that often. It's those big installs of people that get hit, and people marking spam, and then it instantly goes in a database, and no one else will receive that comment as a real potentially real comment.
Yep. Great. So.
All right. Let's jump to reading settings under the settings menu. This is where people can change their default page to go to a static page, like if they have an about page and they want to make that a front page. right now you probably have it just as a sample page because there's nothing there yet, but you could make your front page. You can select it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of seeing the blog post as the default homepage, you could have the About page as a default page. What you would need to do is create a page. Yeah, you need to create a page for the blog, though. You'd have to create a new page, maybe call it blog, and then you could have the posts go there.
Yep.
But that's all that one does.
Should I go ahead and do that?
Yeah, sure. Show what happens so people will see.
Okay. Let me just pull this back up. Whoa.
Oh, refresh that.
So,
there you go. Oh, it's still got. Oh, you didn't save it, I don't think. You must not have saved the. That's the default post. I remember I got my site up is what it made.
Yep. So this will get edited, but I'm going to add a new page. I can just call this blog.
Right.
And I'm not going
Which is good.
Call this a parent page, but this will just be used so I can toggle back on that setting.
Right. Yeah, now you can go back to that reading and set the two under the settings reading.
Let's refresh.
And you'll have, yep, that's right.
So I'm selecting static, front page, about, post page, blog.
And then save changes. Make sure you save changes. There you
go. Okay, so
now you can visit. Now visit the site, and it should go to that About page.
Let's visit. Okay, so the main URL
and you also,
pops right up.
Yep. And you'd also notice to point out that the navigation, you have two pages now. You have About and you have Blog. And so if you click on Blog, you only have one post right now, but you'll see that post.
Yeah. And I can edit this later. Okay.
Right. Cool. So now the fun stuff really starts. We're gonna skip permalinks, but the notion of themes and plugins and what they really are about. Whichever you want to do first.
Okay. So, themes?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, cool.
So themes, themes are where you really can make the site look like so many different things. That's what's so much fun about WordPress.
Yeah.
You'll have a couple. You have 3 themes that come
by default
installed, but show them, like, click that Add New Theme icon. And by default, it'll just show all these different themes, ones that happen to be featured, but there's all these filters to search for themes. And depending on how you want your site to function, like say you're like, oh, I want mine to look like a magazine, you could search for the keyword magazine, or I want my site to look, more like a gallery or a photo gallery, and there's all these different things you can choose from, and they come with sliders and all these different types of things. Now, themes can be, complex or really simple, but it's up to you to play with them. And then for anything, why don't you just pick one? You can pick one to install.
You were chopping up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're chopping up a little bit too.
Our connection. There's a.
Uh-oh, we're losing our. I think we're losing our integrity of our connection right now.
Yeah, we're having a.
Uh-oh. So Ryan went away for a moment. I can show you the themes in the meantime. Let me bring up a site. I can bring up, let's see.
We're back.
Oh, you're back. Good.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry. Got booted there for a minute.
Yeah, I think the internet darned you.
All right. So jumping back to the screen share, and where I was I just typed the word gallery into the search here, and even before I press the enter button, it already starts to bring some results. And the nice part is you could do these live previews before you actually install it, so you can actually get take a peek at how it may look with the existing content that you already kind of have organized. So if it looks good, you could go ahead and press install, but if it doesn't look good, you may want to just click out of that X and kind of move along to something that will suit your interests and needs. And I don't think it's uncommon that you'll test 5 or 6 or 7 different themes until you really kind of find something that you may really like. So I'm going to just give a couple of these a little try and see what happens as a result. And this one looks pretty cool, so I'm going to install that. And even though WordPress actually installs the theme, it doesn't mean you have to activate it right away. You can go to a live preview again and actually start customizing things with their customizing tool, and that menu should appear up on the left in a minute. And you've got all these cool options here, things you can play with. And just keep in mind also that a lot of these free themes have an upgrade to what's called even like a pro version of the theme or a plus version of the theme. And you know, we'll leave that up to you guys if you want to go ahead. In some cases, some of these pro and plus themes could cost anywhere between $25 to $100, and they can get kind of expensive. So be careful about that and really take a look into what your needs are going to be. But so before you do that, you may want to really just kind of jump in with playing with just the general settings that come with the theme itself. You've got options to create logos, which is kind of cool, and replace, for example, if you don't want to just use the default text headline that you selected, you could actually remove that in a live preview, and you'll see it just appear, and replace it with a logo that maybe you have created from somewhere else, just in Photoshop or in another case. But kind of think about that. Do you want just a generic site title, or do you want to really customize that and play around with that idea? So that's definitely something you can think about. This particular theme gives me an option to also use a background image. If I want to have a background image that I can tile or play around with, gives you the option to play around with that as well. And then we've got some other options here to include our social media profiles, where you can grab the URL of those accounts: Facebook, Twitter, G+, LinkedIn, Instagram, Flickr. All of the main social media icons can be placed and listed on the page as well. So I would definitely take advantage of that. This way your visitors can find you on those platforms as well. And then you can also toggle what we talked about a few minutes ago of rearranging your static page from where and how things are created. As of right now, the main page is the About page, which gives a default description of the site itself, which I will definitely change, and the posts are going to a blog page. But we also have the option, if you'd like, if you want your front page to be just a static page, in the sense of it being maybe just a single image, you can go ahead and add an additional page with no title that can also just serve as a main, kind of like an image. Should I give them a little demo on that?
Sure, if you want to, yeah, absolutely.
On how to do that? Or we can go here and we can click a new page. And like I said, we're not going to give it a title. We're just going to publish the page. And in this case, I get an option here of what type of page I'd like to create. And maybe I can select the option, which I can later plug images into. But if I publish this without a title, I can later go back and add an image in there. So if I go back to appearance now, and customize, jump out, whoops. And you'll notice I have another page there that has no title. And until I select and activate this to be the front page, and I'm going to go ahead and just add an image to this quickly, just so there's something there at this point. And I haven't uploaded any files yet. Well, let's see what I got. And I'll just take an image off my desktop, which is a little digital image I've been playing around with a little bit. And
There you go.
Yeah, just plug that in there and update that. Let's see how that looks when we visit the page. So right now I've got an image there and something there. So if I want to change this to the front page, I'll go back to the customize option and click content and layout. Well, this is interesting. So I may have to go back into the reading dashboard for this particular theme in order to activate that, rather than the customization page, where I can now make my static page the one that has no title, and my post pages will stay as the blog page. So let me click save and let's see what happens there. I can refresh the site. So now when I go to the URL, graphanimation.com, the static page is just this image that I selected.
Yeah, cool.
And notice that the funny looking page that said no title with the number is gone, and it's been changed to the home page. So anytime we click home, it'll take us back there. My about page still in place, and my blog roll, which will archive all of the newest posts on that page. So that's how that works, which can be changed again at any time. Right now I just have one image there. I could also select and choose that image if I wanted it to be the size of the whole page, or if I want to add a slider to that page with various images, we can do that too.
Very cool.
Right.
So I think the last one to really talk about, oh no, there's still like, why don't you talk about widgets in the context of, we'll still go to plugins, but widgets are kind of cool because I think people don't think about what they are, and the idea of like a widget is a is an object that you can kind of position in a sidebar or a footer that, it's where you can say put like a Twitter feed or your recent tweets or your recent images. Or, there was a student who had asked about putting a feed of his SoundCloud music files and stuff like that. I mean, which would be a combination. You would have to install a SoundCloud plugin, a SoundCloud widget plugin, and then place that widget within, say, a right column sidebar or something like that.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of the last couple things to talk about, and then I think we're good.
All right, so let's, under Appearance, go down to Widgets, which also will fall under your menu under here as well. But you'll notice, depending on your theme, when you go to the Widgets page, that you'll have a couple of options for a left sidebar, a right sidebar, footer options. These are just specific for the theme that I'm working with. So every theme has its own configuration of where their default widgets may fall, and in some cases they even plug in some widgets by default. So if I'm going to work with this left sidebar, and I'm not interested in, say, using the meta widget, I could slide that over, or the archives widget, I could slide that over, and let's say I want to replace it with a categories widget. I can just drag that over, and notice how easily you can just kind of drag and drop and toggle these around. Is pretty easy to do. Sometimes you might see some duplicates, but so I've got search, and by clicking on it, you can input some additional information here if you want. If you want to give a specific title to that widget, you can do so. And it's really up to you how you go about that. But right now I've selected my widget bar to be the left sidebar with these three widgets, and at that point I can toggle back to my site. Oops. And see where those are going to be placed. The widgets really usually don't come up on a static.
Well, they can. Like if you go to edit this page, you can tell it to show widgets. Probably, it's like you could have to.
Yeah.
I think you could probably tell it to show widgets on the page or not. It would. So, let's see. If you look page attributes.
Yeah.
If you change that template, maybe it would show up. There's the possibility of it being there, or maybe even lower, below the post itself, or the content of the post itself. But there are ways of. Oh wait, it might be set to only this like upgrade, make it plus to do.
I think so. I think rather than on because we chose a static front page, that if I select another page to look at, like the blog post page, for example, and this is definitely going to vary from theme to theme, so that might be something to keep in mind. So I'm just going to click on Edit the Page, and let's see what comes up for this under my page attributes here.
See what templates are there. What's under that default template?
Yeah, I think it's the default. So
is there any other template? Are there any other templates listed under there?
No, just the builder template. And oh,
I see. There's the build. Oh, wait, there. See with the columns. I bet there's a chance that would allow widgets to show up.
Yep, you're right. There you go. You can convert any column into an area for widgets, but you have to upgrade.
Yeah, but you have to upgrade. Yeah. So this is a sneaky theme.
Yeah, this one is a little bit trickier for that. But in most cases, most themes from the template will give you an option of full page blog post plus sidebar or without. You'll notice that under the template you'll have that option. So in this particular case, this theme is not supporting widgets without upgrading to plus. So Yeah.
But it's something to keep in mind as you start to. I mean, but it's cool. It's like this is part of the learning process of WordPress, and as you pick a theme and you see this image of the theme and it looks really cool and you're like, I want my site to look like that. You're going to have to do some work with the configuration of the theme. Another big one is like when it comes to sliders and you have to set, if you actually go to a post, any post, and the notion of how you tend to need if you go to the edit of the post, and we can look at that custom image, featured image. If you scroll down, on the right, most themes, this featured image is really important. Like if you have these themes that have sliders, or if you see a grid of if the posts are displayed by a grid of images, and in order to see that image, you tend to have to set a featured image, and that's what indicates like that's that display icon for the particular post, if you will. You tend to have to do that, and it'll adjust the size accordingly based on whatever the theme settings are. But setting featured images is really a big part of those kind of sliders and grids of images for a particular theme.
Yeah.
So that's good. I guess we could just quickly speak about plugins, and I think that's the last one.
Okay, cool. So yeah, back down under your main dashboard, you will see an option under Appearance that says Plugins, and you can click on that, and it will bring you to a page where you'll notice that there are a bunch of default plugins that are already there.
And those are set by, I mean, just so you know, Akismet is typically installed.
Yeah.
But these 5 plugins are ones that Reclaim Hosting has set that they think that students will likely want to use. So like for example, Subscribe to Comments is so that if you want someone to have, if someone what typically happens is someone will make a comment.
Yeah.
And say they ask a question in their comment. If they want to know if you followed up, they'll want to subscribe to comments, and that way they'll hit a little checkbox under the comment field that they're making. And if you respond or anybody else makes a comment on that post, the person who subscribed to that comment will get an email saying, hey, someone else has commented on this post, so you can continue to follow the conversation, and that's really powerful.
Excellent.
But why don't you search for a plugin? Like, let's pretend like you want to do something with, like, say you're a SoundCloud person or something like that, and you want to let's look for that SoundCloud widget and see if we can find it.
So we can use the search box here. There's also another option underneath there, but I'll type in SoundCloud and see what comes up. Ooh.
Oh, you got to make it one word, no space.
No results. Gotcha. Maybe because this is searching for the already installed.
Oh, installed. Yeah, there you go.
My bad. So now I can search here. And let's see.
There you go.
Okay, and then we've got several options, 75 potential items.
Right.
And notice the ratings. And
yes,
I guess,
it is kind of a...
Yeah, do they put them in chronological order by, this one has the highest number of downloads, 98,262 downloads. So the rating of 4.5 stars looks pretty good in terms of the overall user feedback.
Maybe see what happens if you put widget after SoundCloud. Let's see if we can specifically look for a SoundCloud plugin that generates a widget for us. So that because some of these plugins can be really complex, and there's a lot of features, including possibly a widget.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these, the ones that are still showing up top, have widget functionality, but maybe we can see if there's something that just does widgets, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, SoundCloud Master is a lightweight, shiny, clean code WordPress plugin. Show off
Yeah.
and sell your
I mean, that's
widget.
it's a big part of, you know, these spaces. You got to read about some of these things, and if you click on any plugin, it's going to bring up. If you click on the more details on any of these, you'll probably get to see the plugin site. Oh, cool! This is the particular. Oh, it speaks about widgets and things like that. You can learn about what you can look at screenshots and stuff like that that'll give you the basics of how the plugin works.
Yeah.
So there is some reading for a lot of these for a bunch of these to sort out, but it is really powerful to play with plugins if you want to hook into some of your social media stuff, or if you want to. You know, you can do cool things like you can embed Google Forms. You can do all sorts of different types of things, and maybe sometimes it's about just like looking at the popular plugins at the top. Like even one of the ones I'd encourage, since you have with Akismet, you can install Jetpack, which is like WordPress.com's kind of core plugin that you know, allows you to hook in social media or have short codes work for other things. So Jetpack is really useful, as well as like if you're interested in like doing analytics, like you can create an analytics account with Google.com, and then you can install the Google Analytics plugin, and you can see how many visits are coming to your site, all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But Jetpack does that too. It has an analytics portion to the plugin.
Cool.
Do you have a favorite plugin so far, Ryan? You have that social icons one, right?
Yeah, that one is pretty cool. I've been kind of toggling around and playing with that. My favorite one, believe it or not, is the it's Black Studio Visual Editor.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Tiny MCE widget, which is basically a visual editor that will allow for you to pretty much customize anything you want. With this widget, you could add text, you could add an animated GIF, you could add links, or basically kind of any media form into the widget itself. I find it to be incredibly useful. So I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, that's a cool one. So
install that.
And then that's a widget, and then it has a tiny MCE editor within the widget when you add it.
Absolutely. And,
that's a really cool one.
I'm going to activate the plugin.
Yeah, and just show us that one. That's a great one to end on.
Yeah, and give a little example on that. It shows up here, but when it shows up in your widgets list, it might just come up as Visual Editor. So, and at first it might kind of mislead you a little bit because you're looking for what it says, you know, Black Studio, Tiny MCE, but it actually is the Visual Editor. And
so you can add that. It's got to be down there.
Yep.
There it is, Visual Editor.
Yep, I'm going to drag that up to the one of my sidebars here, which I don't think it's going to let us use it, unfortunately, because we're not supporting the plus.
Oh yeah, you're not going to be able to see it.
Aspect, but we can.
Oh, that's so cool.
We can upload and select files into that idea. So got a bunch of different things here. I'll just use this image again and place that into the widget, and here you can alter and control the sizes, and also give captions and descriptions and links to it. But you've got a lot of options here in terms of what you can do right in the editor itself. So it almost kind of functions like a blog post content page and window itself, and it's super useful. You can, like I said, you can add hyperlinks to it. You can also toggle some of the HTML if you want to, make change the color
Right.
of your text or change, some of the
Right. So that's
text
cool.
sizes. Yeah.
Because normally I've always used the basic text widget and then always hand coded. But this is a way of using the visual post editor, the Tiny MCE editor, instead of just hand coding.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's way
that's
better.
a really good plugin.
Yeah. It supports.
Hey, I got to learn something too. That's cool.
It supports animated GIFs as well. And I guess I could give you guys a little example of how that looks on my own site.
Yeah.
Just really quickly. And I've only got widgets installed on my news feed page, which I can, I go back and forth. Sometimes I change it from news to blog, but as of right now, it says news. But you'll see the widgets pop up when we toggle to it. And on the right hand side there, you'll see when this loads, which is a little on the slow side today.
That's because you're hammering your connection with your upload to this Hangout.
Yep. So I've got my Twitter feed in there, but I've also got my Gravatar profile in there, and I've got this little GIF that I made just as a Black Studio, Tiny MCE. These are also just used in the visual editor. I just added these GIFs.
Yeah.
As a part of my sidebar. I thought this page was kind of plain with just all the
posts,
feed stuff and posts. So I figured let me spice it up a little bit and added a couple of these animations to it. So it works really, really well.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, what's that one called again?
That is Black Studio Tiny MCE Visual Editor. You could just type in Black Studio and you'll find it right away. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it then, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Very cool.
That should be pretty helpful in getting started and doing some tweaking and toggling. But I have to say, I've already seen some advanced development.
We didn't do the custom menus, but we'll say that for another time.
Okay.
I think we're running long at this point on our chat. But yeah, we'll show custom menus because custom menus are nice so that you can change this home about blog menu and you can do links to external sites. Say if you want to link out to like a Tumblr that you have, or you want to organize your links if you have a lot of them under so you have drop downs and stuff like that. So we can follow up with that. But you can also just Google it and just look for custom menus for WordPress, and it's you'll find someone just talking about it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So we look forward. We're going to be syndicating sites. I looked at the list of sites, and there's about 35 or 36. So that should be most everybody. There might be a few missing still, but I'm gonna start syndicating everybody's feeds into the ct101.us site.
Excellent.
And then people can expect to see their posts that are coming from their personal websites in ct101.us, which I think is going to be awesome. And so I'm excited to start doing that.
Cool.
We have to tweak ct101.us now too.
Cool. Absolutely.
We have to start featuring like student work in a sidebar and stuff like that.
Excellent idea.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Ryan, you can think of?
No, that's about it. I mean, I got to say that I'm super proud of the work that the students are doing, and the fact that we've got almost everybody, with their own self-hosted domain and site up and running is definitely a great accomplishment. So keep up the good work, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you live on Monday, but definitely ask questions by email, via comments on the ct101.us site. And also look at those reflections, the weekly reflections about copyright.
Excellent.
You know. All right.
All right.
Bye, Ryan.
Good talking, everyone. Take care.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.